Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to the Forgotten Weapons State of the Channel 2018 video. This is going to be the YouTube trailer video for the channel for 2018, so I'm going to include some information here for the brand new viewer, as well as some cool stuff for you guys who have been around and watching for years. So to start with, what is Forgotten Weapons? Well, of course, it is a video channel run alongside my website, forgottenweapons.com, where I look at the interesting history and mechanics of interesting firearms. So we don't look at all aspects of every gun, but what we look for are the interesting historical or developmental or mechanical aspects of different firearms, primarily military firearms and primarily cartridge-based firearms, so 1860s or so and forward, although those are not hard and fast rules, either the timelines or the focus on exclusively forgotten, quote-unquote, weapons. We do touch on some very common and very widely used firearms whenever I think it's valuable to try and put them in proper context or to explain aspects of their mechanics or their history that may not be well understood. So, cover a wide variety of guns in what I hope to be a reasonable amount of depth, and hopefully covering things that you are not familiar with or haven't ever heard of before. I work with a variety of sources to get the guns that you see on camera. Some are from my own private collection, most of them are not. Most of them come from an assortment of other private collectors, museums, occasionally law enforcement agencies, and very often auction houses. All of which have interesting guns access to interesting guns in their collection, which I am able to take a look at. So you will see a variety of different sources for these guns, and usually you'll see a logo like up there in the corner from whatever group or agency or organization happens to be hosting me if I'm looking at something that belongs to something other than a private collector. So I have some really cool stuff coming up for 2018 that you guys are definitely going to be excited to see. First off, I'm going to do my absolute best to maintain the video everyday posting schedule that I've been doing for a while now. It might become impossible for me to maintain that just with the amount of work that I'm doing with some other side projects going on, but as long as possible, I'm going to keep that video coming to you every day. Now, what kind of videos? Well, I have a couple travel plans already set up for 2018. I will be doing some video in South Africa for a while, so we're going to have a really cool assortment of some interesting South African guns coming up. I am also going to be taking probably two trips over to mainland Europe. One of them will involve a tour of American battlefields in France in May. That should be really exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. And then I'm going to stick around over in France for a week or two after that to do some more filming. I don't know exactly where yet. There are, of course, a whole slew of possibilities. And then I'm also planning to go back to be in Europe somewhere for the 100th anniversary of Armistice Day on November 11th. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing there yet, but I know there's going to be something really cool going on that I would like to be a part of and bring to you guys. As for the content itself, I'm planning to keep doing primarily what you've gotten used to, in-depth looks at specific unusual guns. I am also planning to expand things a little bit. We're going to keep doing a weekly book review when I'm not in the middle of an auction cycle. I'm also planning to add what I'm calling Forgotten Weapons Shorts. In fact, you may have already seen one or two of them. And those are just responses to questions that come up a lot, various concepts associated with collectible or historic firearms that I think warrant their own little video. So hopefully we can do a little bit more educational content outside the focus of just a specific gun at a time. I am going to, as always, do as much shooting as I can, but this is primarily a channel focused on history and mechanics, and only a small fraction of the guns that I get my hands on I am able to actually go out and shoot for you. But there will be absolutely will be some shooting this year, as there always has been in the past. And lastly, the thing that I'm really excited about that I've been working on for a while now and will continue to be working on through 2018 is publication of my first book. In addition to the Vickers Guide books, which I've been associated with, I've helped to write, I'm also writing my own, from scratch, a reference guide to French rifles for collectors. So a bit of a niche subject, but it matches my own personal interest. So if all goes according to plan, hopefully that will be available for purchase and pre-order actually around the end of 2018. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. I know I'm really enjoying the work going into making it happen. If you follow the various online gossip, I'm sure you'll be aware that YouTube is at least as of the beginning of the year when I'm filming this, still playing shenanigans with its monetization policies, trying to figure out what content it will allow and what content it won't allow, and of course, gun-related material like Forgotten Weapons does fall victim to that. So I don't know what the year will bring with that. However, I will point out there is also an alternative source to find Forgotten Weapons, and that is full30.com. In addition, and perhaps more importantly, there is Patreon. So it is, I have a huge debt of gratitude to the folks who do support me directly on Patreon. It is thanks to you guys that this channel is still here and still running, and will continue to do so as far as I can see into the foreseeable future. No matter what YouTube ends up deciding, as long as they allow gun content on the network, which honestly I don't think is really going to change, Forgotten Weapons will be there. Should they decide to change that policy, well, thanks to Patreon, Forgotten Weapons will continue, and I will be uploading it to Full30 and whatever sites become available to replace YouTube, should that happen. So it's also thanks to Patreon that I'm able to separate Forgotten Weapons from a lot of the funding sources that are common but maybe not so appealing, at least not to me personally. A lot of things like sponsored content you, as a general rule, will not see on Forgotten Weapons, because thanks to Patreon, I don't need to try and rely on that sort of source for income. So if you're interested in some of the perks that are available to Patreon patrons, definitely check out the Forgotten Weapons Patreon site. There is a link to that in the description text below. Last but definitely not least, I would like to direct your attention to my second video channel, InRangeTV. I run InRange with my friend and co-host Karl and we look at a variety of different content over there. It's mostly guns, but not entirely guns. We also look at various aspects of cultural history. We have a series on Old West vignettes, tales of heroic and tragic events from the American West that are pretty cool. We have access to a lot of that here in the Southwest part of the US. We look at food from time to time. We look at, well, all manner of history as it applies tangentially to firearms. And of course, we also do a lot of content with guns. There's a lot more live fire shooting over on InRange than there is here on Forgotten Weapons. We do a lot of practical firearms testing as well as practical competition with firearms, both the newest stuff on the market and as old as World War I bolt-action rifles. So we have a lot of fun with that. Sometimes success, sometimes complete failure, but it's interesting either way. And lastly, one of the most exciting thing I think about InRange right now is we have been asked to be a part of Indy Neidell's World War II live documentary project, which is going to be a 6-year collaborative project between a whole bunch of different YouTube channels to examine the history of World War II week by week. So InRange will be taking part, bringing you a lot of the guns of World War II in collaboration with some other really excellent partners. So hopefully you will join us for that on InRange, as well as all of the unusual and obscure firearms you will find throughout the course of 2018 here on Forgotten Weapons. Thank you very much for watching.